I'm Marissa with NRG Bakery, and we are based out of Oak Harbor, Ohio. We've been doing this for a little over a year, and we are all artificial dye-free, and I'm going to be showing you my favorite dye-free brand today and how to mix it up in royal icing. The brand that we're going to be working with today is from PRSM, and you can find that on Etsy, and it is Tru Color, and these are the powders. We're going to be using the primary colors of yellow, blue, and red, and it comes with a little scooper to get the powders out, but I like to use 1/8 of a teaspoon, and you'll need a knife to stir it up with, and your mixing bowls, along with a 2/3 cup royal icing and some water. We're going to start with the red. Tru Color did change its packaging, so it may look a little bit different than mine does. But we're going to go ahead and get our royal icing into our 2/3 cup. I like a little thick consistency, that way when I add my color and water to it, it will turn out to be the right consistency in the end. So we're just going to start with a little bit, that way we know how the color is going to react. And if we need more, then we can adjust our measuring of dye to icing. I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can mix your powdered dye into royal icing. So you can take your 1/8 of a teaspoon into a bowl and add a little bit of water to it to make a thick paste. Now this isn't necessary, but this is another way that you can incorporate it into your royal icing. It just adds an extra step. And then you would just dump it right over top. I think a lot gets wasted this way. And then you would just mix it in. And once you get it all incorporated, as you can see, it's a light pink. It is not red. So you're going to wait at least 30 minutes before you add more color. Overnight is best because it will continue to develop over time. So with our last one, you see how much got wasted, and I like to do the method where I stick the dye right into the royal icing and add water right into it as well. That way there's little waste and the quality is still the same. So I'll stick a 2/3 cup of royal icing into my bowl. And it's pretty thick to start out with because we're adding water to it, so it will continue to get a less thick consistency. I'll take my 1/8 teaspoon. We're just gonna drop it in, add a little bit of water, and we're gonna stir it in. And we'll wait at least 30 minutes and come back and see what it looks like. And we can add more red in. We're definitely gonna need more red because you want to aim for 1 to 2 shades lighter than you're anticipating it to come out as. And you're gonna wanna cover it while we wait, that way the royal icing doesn't dry out. Our next color is yellow, and I'm using the No Fade yellow, and it is the easiest color to achieve using natural dye. We're gonna mix our 2/3 cup of royal icing. Into our bowl. and put our 1/8 of color right into the icing. Add a little bit of water. And we'll do the same thing. We'll wait 30 minutes, but this is pretty much the color it's going to get because it is already very bright yellow. And next up is royal blue. This one can be tricky because it can come out very dull or very like purplish gray. So this is one that you would add lemon juice to or some sort of acidity to make it brighter. We're gonna fill our 2/3 cup up with our royal icing again for the blue. Yeah, it started out very blue, and then as we get to the end of it all mixing, it's a very dull grayish blue color. So we're gonna wait 30 minutes, see how that turns out before we add any other color or acidity to it. It's been 30 minutes, and this is the red that we just mixed our dye straight into. And as you can see, it has some speckles in it, and all we have to do is just stir it up and those will go away. At this point, you can add more red dye and water to the mixture if it's too light. I'm wanting a very dark red, so I'm going to mix in some more dye. So altogether we have 4 1/8 teaspoons into our 2/3 cup of royal icing. And I'm going to let this sit for at least 12 hours now to get it to be the kind of red, dark red that I want it to be. Because even when we wait 30 minutes and you add more color to it, it's going to continue to develop over time. So I got that all mixed in, and I am going to wait until tomorrow morning and come back and show you the difference. This is the red that we mixed in a separate bowl and then combined it, and as you can see, there's no little specks in. It's very well incorporated, but I just do feel like you waste quite a bit. So I'm gonna put some more water in here, and we will let this sit for 12 hours and see how much darker it gets without adding any extra dye to it. And this is how our yellow turned out after 30 minutes, which is still the same, very bright yellow. So there's not much we got to do with that, but I will let it sit for 12 hours overnight and show you what it looks like in the morning if there is any change at all. And here's the royal blue that we used. We're just going to mix up the little speckles that it has in it. And as you can see, it's a very dull color, but I'm not going to add any more into this. That way I can show you after letting it sit overnight what the color is compared to today. It's the next morning. I let the colors sit overnight on the counter at room temperature to let them develop more, and we are going to take a look and see how the colors are different from yesterday. So this is our super red that we put 1/8 teaspoon in for 2/3 cup. So as you can see, it's still very light pink. We did not get a red. And this is our second super red color option that we did yesterday. And I wanted to show you the difference between the two. So this one, we mix the powder directly into the icing, which is why it has all the speckles. But once we stir that up, it will all incorporate back in again. And we did this one with 1/2 teaspoon of red powder to the 2/3 cup icing. And I wanted to show you the difference between the two. So this one has 1/2 teaspoon of the red powder, and this one is the 1/8 teaspoon of red powder. And we'll mix those up. As you can see, the speckles have went away and it is back to being a nice consistency icing without the speckles. So if this is still not the color you want, you can always add 1/8 teaspoon, let it sit on the counter for 30 minutes covered, and check on it again and see if it's the color you want yet. A lot of questions I get are about oversaturating, and honestly, you're going to tell if it's oversaturated. It could have a weird smell, it could be a gritty texture. So really it's just trial and error, but I will be having videos upcoming about the tips and things that you can do to make sure your icing is not oversaturated and what you can add to develop your color deeper and more vibrant. So since this is a starter video, I'm just going over the basics today just to get you started. Next up is our No Fade Yellow, and this is perfectly yellow still. Yellow's the easiest one. I knew we wouldn't have to do anything with it. Now if it's too bright, you can always start with a not bright white icing to kind of dull it down a bit, but yellow is the easiest one and we have nothing to do with this one. This is our royal blue, and it has sat overnight, 1/8 teaspoon powder to 2/3 cup of royal icing. And as you can see, it is still a very, as it is darker, it's still a very dull blue. Kind of grayish purple. Now blue is one that if you aren't trying to achieve this color, you're going to need to add either a different color, more blue, or something to make this a brighter or darker blue that you want. So again, this is just a basic of how these powders react in royal icing. So I will be doing more in-depth videos on how to achieve the different colors that you're wanting. So just for reference, this one is the one that we put 1/2 teaspoon of red powder in, and this is the 1/8 teaspoon. So you can see it's quite a few shades darker. If you want to see more videos using artificial dye-free colors, subscribe to NRG Bakery, and when we reach 1,000 subscribers, we will pick someone to earn a $100 Amazon gift card.